ready to go.
Good for us.
Lou, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Very
so good to see you.
We've been talking a bit of shit off here already. Am I allowed to swear on this?
No, we don't swear.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, fuck this then. I'm out.
Do you know the thing about swearing? It's quite funny. Juz, my beautiful wife, Tofu Princess, we call her here.
You call her what, sorry?
Tofu Princess.
What, does she love tofu?
Yeah.
Is that all she eats? Is she vegetarian?
No, we were both vegetarian, and she is vegetarian for ages, and then all of a sudden we called her that. She hated it and stuck with it forever.
I love a nickname that everyone hates. I get called Stinky Lou on the podcast.
You do.
Which is, I'm not stinky. It's just, now it's stuck.
So, do you know what's really funny? And I do love your podcast. I was talking about this earlier. And you know when people say, I love your podcast, you go, which episode? But I love the clips. I love it all. I love, Jarch. I love Tom and Burmo. You got a great team up there at Hello Sport. Shane Keith Productions. But obviously, We Mean Well is genuinely dominating. And I want to really talk about that later because it's bloody incredible what you guys have been able to do. Not surprised, but in a world where there's a lot of stuff out there, it's really cool. And we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But they do call you Stinky Lou. And I love that part where Jarch... What does he say? Like he talks about you like farting in the studio.
Yeah, so the worst part is, so he goes, Stinky Lou, and he made a song, and then he goes, Stinky Lou, she just crop dusts the studio. I'm not kidding you. I can't post something on Instagram or TikTok without people being like, crop dusting the whole of Sydney, Stinky Lou. Like every comment. And I think if you didn't listen to the podcast and you just came onto my page, you'd be like, wow, this girl must love to fart or something. And like, I'm not even a farter. I'm not even stinky. It's just like fully stuck. I'm so off it.
Mate, it's the funniest thing ever when I feel like podcast communities are cults. And
ours is a full cult.
And you say one thing and it sticks forever. Like we
it's amazing but also so bad. Like I've been at the pub in Melbourne while I've been here and someone's been like, "Oi, Stinky Lou." I'm like, it's just like just randoms eating their like steak. Who's this stinky girl?
What's been your weirdest like interaction with someone or someone that knows about the pods or seen you online? Because you know how crazy it is, and again, not referring myself to you guys because you're dominating, but sometimes people will come up, which I love. I genuinely love it.
Same.
But they come up so confidently that you think you know them. Have you ever had that where they go, "Hey, how you going?" And you're like,
I literally had that the other day. A girl like yelled at me and was like, "Lou!" And I was like, from a cafe, and she was like, "Lou!" And I was like, went over and was like, "Hey." And she was like, "I don't know you, don't worry." Yeah. I know. I love it. I love it when the bedwetters come up. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like, wow, it's so weird. Like, I just think I'm this like little loser from New Zealand and people like, for some reason, want to chat.
New Zealand's cool.
Yeah, it's a good spot. I would never move back though.
Yeah. Where were you from?
I grew up in Palmerston North, which is like, I always say it's a dump, but I'm going to get like called, like someone's going to come for me for that. But it's just like, it's a small town.
Nice dump.
A nice dump. I'm actually going back in 2 weeks' time for a wedding. I'm a bridesmaid.
Is your mum still there?
Nah, parents are in Christchurch. So then moved to Christchurch when I was like 15.
Yeah, okay.
So haven't been back to Palmy, so I'm going back in 2 weeks.
Why did you move to Melbourne?
Sydney. Idiot. We're in Melbourne now. I'm here for the week. I moved to Sydney actually.
No, I meant from Sydney. Why'd you move here for the week?
Oh, well, yeah. I just came to see the scenes. I wanted to go to Electric. I wanted to go to Revs.
Cool. How long does it take to live, say you live somewhere, by the way? Like when you're overseas and you go for a month, you say you lived in Europe?
No way. You got to live somewhere for
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah. But then again,
nearly 12 months.
I'm such a hypocrite. I reckon if I went to Europe for 3 months, I'd be like, oh yeah, I lived there for 3 months.
Yeah, same.
I'm going
in June. I'm moving to Europe.
You're moving to Europe?
Yeah, in June. Just for a quick trip. Sorry, so many questions, but back to moving to Sydney.
So I moved for a job in radio. So I got a job on the Today FM night show with this guy called Danny Lakey. So we did... I think we did 8 till 11 p.m. And I was like half producer, half on air. So I was called Shuey Louie on that show. We had
a few nicknames.
Few shit nicknames. And did that for about 2 years. And then we moved to Triple M from 7 till 10. And then it was one of those moments where they were like, you can move to Melbourne and keep doing the show from Melbourne, or you can... I don't know if you're allowed to say this now. Surely it's been fucking ages. Or you can take a redundancy package and do your own thing. And you know, in your gut, I'm a real big believer in like following your gut. And I was like, this is not my thing. Like he was a great guy and everything, but it wasn't like my show. I was like producer and half kind of on air. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to leave, and then within like a week I got a job producing Fitzy and Whipper.
So cool.
Yeah, and then I was with them for like a year and a half, 2 years. Love them.
I
Best
think
team.
what's really cool about you and what I've loved seeing, like, when you sort of, we've only met a couple of times, but you sort of like through doing similar roles and knowing a lot of people, you sort of just like feel you know people.
Yeah.
What's been really cool, and I don't know if this is a perception or maybe a perception that you feel that you get, but like you look at the success that you and Jarch have had of late and everything that's going on, and people think, this is something just happened on TikTok and you blow up and you get a podcast and things go well. Like, I want to say, like, there's a lot of people blow up on TikTok, but not many people are able to do it, and also not many people are able to transfer that into something sustainable. And secondly, the TikTok thing was probably, from what I'm gathering now, like the 1% at the end. Like, there's so many times there where you're saying, like, you moved to from New Zealand to Sydney, do some radio shows, get redundant, move on to another one, still not doing where you want to be. But it's like that, the whole consistency of just being and putting yourself into it for a long time.
100%. Like, my whole thing was I always grew up being like, I knew I wanted my own radio show. Yeah. And like, the radio industry is such a different thing because they keep being like, well, you're going to be a star, Lou. Like, we're going to get you your show, and they just keep saying that for you to stay on. And then it just one day, like, I fucking loved Fitzy and Whipper, but I just knew I didn't want to produce. And like, when I quit, I had like 90,000 TikTok followers. We hadn't even started the pod. Like, there was no platform or anything for me to be like, cool, this is going to work. Like, it was fully just like, fuck it, we'll see what happens. 6 months, chew through my savings, go back to radio, And then it was like, TikTok started like gaining a bit more, getting a bit more income from that, and then we started the podcast, and we were sort of under the impression like this would be a slow game, takes a while to build up. Obviously Jarch and I were lucky we had our own sort of audiences, but it just kept growing, which was wild because we actually talk about nothing. Like, it's just a big bucket of shit.
Yes.
Like, there's nothing of note in it. Sometimes we talk for like 40 minutes and we're like, what did we even say?
People love that. I think it's I think we were talking about this before. You can be so, and with this show, sometimes you talk about, I like having two parts of my personality where, like, with a Footy and Friends show, we just talk absolute shit. I don't even know what the fuck we're saying. You sort of walk in and go, like, what actually just happened? Yeah. Versus this sort of chat. It's like cool to do two different types of things, and people like that escapism of those chats where you can just fucking chill out.
That's what everyone says. They're like, it's like escaping reality for an hour of just like nothing, and just like Jarch and I just genuinely want to make people laugh. Yeah, and that's like the main thing. It's
a great duo, good chemistry, that's for sure. And obviously, I had a show with Dan, which was grouse, and when you have that chemistry, it's really exciting. How do you go with like being in a duo? Do you love having teammates?
It's so easy with Jarch and I. Like, we have like obviously segments that we do and stuff, but we could literally be like, fuck it, what are we going to talk about, and just sit down and go. Like, it's just really easy, especially because we're actually friends. You know how like in media you can throw people together, especially in radio, they'll go throw them together. See if it works. Like, we already had that friendship, the chemistry from that, and then working on like TikToks together, so it was just easy.
Yeah. The fucking video that you guys did ages ago at Bondi with the song, like, he's actually a very good artist.
He's a phenomenal rapper. Yeah. Yeah, the Nerdy Bra. And then we did our second one.
It's actually like an impressive song. I'll put that in the link in the show notes, but that is,
it's got like 200, actually, this might be a stretch, but I think it's got like, I'm going to look, 200 million. I think it's got like 250,000 plays or downloads, which is fucked for like a random.
It's actually good.
348,000.
Wow.
That's like wild for like a random song.
348,007 when you're done with this.
Exactly. Make it 8. I'll listen again.
We got Carl to listen again too. Let's get a double digits.
And then our second one, Doing Time, which had me in it. Not as good. 77,000.
Flop, that one. I was going to say, you probably didn't follow up as strongly with the next one.
The third one, though, will be Stinky Lou.
Yeah, well, that's...
We were saying we should do a video clip of it and, like, produce a song. And then I was like, because then that becomes a real thing. Stinky Lou sticks at that point.
Yeah, I think it's stuck.
We actually said last podcast that maybe it should just be Stew. Stinky Lou, Stew. So I was like, I don't mind Stew. I don't mind Stew. Not too bad.
Going back to that... radio, so it's down in an ice.
Sorry. Great noise for a podcast.
I know you were trying to silently just smack back.
Hey, I've got a maraca, everyone. Let's play a musical instrument. I'll leave that away from me. It actually sounds good. Sorry, back to the maraca.
When you left the radio,
Yeah.
and you're starting doing the TikToks, right? You know, they're saying they're promising you these things. So I reckon a lot of people listening, maybe they're in a position where they want to get into podcasting, radio, all those sorts of pieces. And you're saying, like, you know, when you're working with someone, you're obviously doing what you got to do. You got to produce. You got to do those hard roads, and it makes you ultimately a better performer because you can produce. You actually know the hooks and all those sort of things.
The good thing with the pod is I've got the pod produce. Like we literally, I can't even say breakfast radio without it being a joke because it's like a running joke on the podcast. But without having that,
is your breakfast radio my footy career?
Fucking oath.
Because I bring it up now and people go, "Oh, did you play footy?" It's like,
that's me.
I don't have anything else to refer it to. Like,
people will comment being
I have to say my previous job now.
People comment being like, "What? You look like the type of person who may have worked in breakfast radio, but what would you know about that?" Like it's full just like piss take now. But if I didn't have that background, I don't think I'd be able to know like a good segment for the podcast or like how to sort of, you know, like mould a what we'd call radio voice break, but you know, a voice break or a segue.
What would you know about it? What would you know?
Anyway, back to the music.
The question I'm trying to get to is, how did you feel when things were like on digital? Was there the respect of like people going, "Oh, she might be onto something here," and it's growing, where they were trying to sort of hold you ready to do something maybe at a later stage, but then you're like, "No, fuck this, I'm going to go do my own thing"?
My personal TikTok. I think there was a bit where they were like, "Oh, you know, we'll see if we could get Lou on like Saturday morning radio or like do a few like demo voice breaks and stuff." But I'd been holding out, even being in New Zealand, like I know how it works. They just go, wait around, like your time will come. And I was just like, what's the worst that happens? I go out on my own for 6 to 12 months. It doesn't work. I go back to radio. And it has worked, which is awesome because now I work your own hours and
it's very cool. Speaking of when you go out on your own, there's times where you've got a manager. Yeah, I've met your manager,
Nick Fordham.
Max.
Oh yeah, but Fordham Company.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I haven't met Nick. Met Max at the golf day.
Yes, Max is my actual manager. Nick is like oversees us.
Oh, he's the big
dog.
cheese. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool. Max is a legend.
He's a good guy.
Such a good guy. Such a good guy. He's great. The
golf day.
Better Beer golf day.
Yeah,
they always do those.
That was so cool. You know what's really interesting about Sydney is it's like you're filming the OC up there.
What do you mean? Because you're by the ocean?
Somewhat, but more so like there's so many characters. Like, you know, like up there, right, you got like Hello Sport guys, you've got Bloke in a Bar, you've got the We Mean Well, you've got like the Inspired Unemployed and there's just so many like it's honestly like a movie.
And everyone's in the eastern suburbs. Yeah, Melbourne's very much more spread out. Like no one lives in one certain, you know, like Sydney, it's like you're pretty much, not everyone, but you're either in the east or you're in Northern Beaches. Yeah. Whereas like Melbourne, I know like 4 suburbs. Everyone's
everywhere here, but I think that in Sydney there's this really cool space of like collaboration and like it almost is I don't know how to explain it. It's like I imagine it being like an LA. You know what I mean? Where like all sort of like, you know,
Hollywood
people go
actors and actresses go.
In not a cringe way though. Yeah. In like a quite cool way that people are collaborating, doing different things. I'm massive on collaboration. I love, like you've been on Inspired and Hello, and they all sort of move around and go through. So
it's pretty
good. Cool.
And then it's also just like, it's fun to know people in the industry as well. And then you can always like ask advice, or like if you've got stuff coming up, you can like invite people that you've done stuff with.
Do you reckon I'd fit in if like...
Nah.
So like if I was to come up there and I'm like at, you know, Toddy's, I walk in, you've got the booking, Spied Unemployed are there, Hello Sport's there.
And you just sit
Denon's
down.
up there and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't have a table.
Can I sit with you guys?
And I was like, guys, do you reckon I could sit with you? Like, what would happen?
As long as you just like straight arm a beer in front of us.
Yeah, and smack some salami and like one of those big pizzas
Pop the bread.
And stuff. Pop the bread, chuck in some like salami.
Burrata.
I love burrata. I'm a big burrata guy.
Toddy, everyone wrote like, it's like, oh, it's so
Toddy's,
basic. No, it's fucking unreal.
Toddy's? I hate that there's like a joke about Toddy's, because I say this to people when I go up there. I'm like, go to Toddy's, and they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, no. It's consistent. You always know what you're going to get. It is phenomenal. Good service, good vibe, and then you go straight to the Royal. I've got a theory. So next time you go to Toddy's, and this is a restaurant, everyone in Sydney, if you're listening, there's one in Roselle now, one in the city,
and
one in Bondi.
Also one in Lawn.
There's one in Lawn. In Melbourne, yeah. It opened above Lawn Hotel.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. But Justin Lane,
Justin Hems.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Justin Hems
Everything
who does
he
that.
Creates turns to gold.
He's got some of the best restaurants in the world. In Sydney, it's fucked, like Bert's, Mimi's, Mr. Wong's,
everything.
Paddington, everything.
So good.
Anyway, I have a theory about his restaurants and also mainly Toddy's in that they have someone, when they get fitted out, because that's only the best part is how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
I have a theory that they put in Instagram lights.
Oh, so
that when people take photos,
you look good in there.
You genuinely look the best you've ever looked.
I've had a few thirst traps at Toddy's and they're pretty good.
Everyone there looks hot.
Toddy's is like the outside. It's like the lights coming down.
No, I'm not joking. Next time you go, look up, because I've taken some photos there and I'm like, I'm a solid 6.5
they've got
on a
the
good day.
flawless filter on you.
And there I'm like at least a 7.
You reckon it's like, on Instagram you swipe to Paris, that filter?
Mate,
he's got lights that make you the Paris filter.
I'm not joking. There's actually, I genuinely reckon, because when you think about it business-wise, if people look good in photos, they want to post it more.
Yeah.
So like if they've got the good aesthetic and they've got the
That's why every time you stand up like that over the table and you get the burrata, you get the bread, it looks phenomenal.
That food. Darcy, have you been to Toddy's?
I went to the one in Lawn.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, was it
really good?
Is it?
Yeah.
Was it lights? Because you looked quite ugly in the photo.
Yeah, so they mustn't have the lights here.
I don't think they've got the lights there. Yeah, they've just got the big windows.
How do you get to Lawn? Because I've been to Portsea, we went to Hotel Sorrento, but then don't you have to, you can drive obviously,
it's a different way.
You catch a ferry from Portsea?
I think you can.
Or Melbourne.
You catch a ferry from Queenscliff to Sorrento. So Lawn is like another hour from
the
Queenscliff.
other way.
Nearly. No, it's further along. So it's like, it's quite far away. Lawn's
closer to Geelong.
No, it's further. So like you'd go
further
Geelong.
Than Geelong.
Yeah, further.
I'm going to draw this up for you. But like Geelong's here.
Yeah.
Queenscliff's here.
Yeah.
Lawn's like up here.
Oh, wow.
But then Portsea and Sorrento are over there.
Portsea's beautiful. Hotel Sorrento's unreal.
Very basic bitch of you.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
But I had to go. I had to go.
Yeah.
In my head, I always imagined Geelong to be like a farm town. And then I found out like
city.
3 weeks ago it's like on the water. Like it's on a beach.
No, it's on.
For some reason, I just imagined it to be like a small farm town with like
that's Bendigo.
With like a clock tower that's brick in the middle.
That's Bendigo.
And like a post office.
That's Bendigo.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something funny. Now, do you watch YouTube?
Like if
You're not 12 years old, so
pretty much. I'm not on Snapchat either, you fucking loser.
There's these guys that I love, and I'm sure you would have seen them on TikTok. And Instagram. They do real prank videos. They're called Misfit Minds, and they're the ones that like sort of go to Bunnings and there's like rulers, and they're like, oh, be careful with the rulers. Boss has been managing. We've been having cock-offs on the rulers. Have you seen those guys? Okay. Anyway, long story short, they went to this town called Beaufort in like Bendigo, and they did the biggest prank on a small town of like 1,000 people, where they pretended they were a Chinese development company that were going to a small town in Beaufort of 1,000 people and building a 20-story McDonald's in the middle of town. And they got the whole town to believe that they were going to build this 20-story McDonald's in a town that has like 20 people. And they were going to knock down like the main town centre in the whole... It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Was everyone just in like an uproar?
Mate, they were in an uproar. It was unbelievable. But you know when you watch it and you go... I had to nearly like skip it from things because I was like, man, I can't watch this.
Like the awkward interactions between people.
They had the cancel there, like everyone, and they just continue to go.
Like, are those pranks legal?
No, I don't think so.
Then how do they post them and get away with it?
I don't know.
It's the same as I've seen one where, is it called a rub and tug?
Never heard of them.
I've seen one where...
What are they?
Well, you know, you get a massage and then there's something at the end. Oh, is it? No, sorry, is it a happy ending?
Has he?
Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No. But I've seen one, this is like very etch, but that they like film and like a 16-year-old gets one.
Oh.
But he's like 25, but they're pretending he's 16 and then they film and they put it online.
Yeah.
I'm like, that can't be legal.
No, that doesn't sound legal, that one. Yeah. But
like surely you get, if that was a prank, you'd get fined.
You'd think so.
Or arrested.
That wasn't Misfit Minds, that one, by the way. Not that I...
Sorry, I'm not comparing.
What are you watching?
No, I'm not sure what you're watching. I don't know what she's talking about, guys. But my one was above board. But yeah, it's fucking hard. And it goes to that point of like in this world of digital creation and stuff, there's got to be two types of thing. It's like no cares, no fucks, no shame.
Yeah.
Coming out and joining in this world, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
When we first started the podcast, I'd be like, oh, cut that. Oh, shouldn't say that. Now it's like...
Stinky Lou.
But even you heard that...
Because you walked up here and the boys had to leave.
We're not starting that
here.
here.
You just walked into Clubby Sports and just started literally...
Next time I walk up the stairs, everyone goes, hey, Stinky Lou's here. Oh, don't even think about it.
We had to crack the windows. What are some of the worst, like, sponsor sort of things you've had to lower yourself
when
all the time?
Before the podcast, I did this one for, I won't say what, but a chip company.
Chip company?
Yeah, and it was like... like, it was...
So like, just context, this is like a sponsored post, like ad on Instagram.
TikTok,
okay.
And I like came up with an idea and they were like, oh, we've actually like got this other idea. And it was like, I was just like, this is the shittest thing I've ever heard of. Like you know, when it's like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, who's behind your marketing plan here? But I was like, fuck it, whatever. Like, I was just kind of starting out, getting paid for it. And it was like, I had to do this like, I can't even remember, but it was like as if like the chip was like on its like birthday, and then like, it was just like, if I was to, like, I'm sure I deleted it. You know,
so
like
wait, you were happy birthdaying the chip,
pretty much.
Yeah.
But you know how if it's been up for a certain amount of time, you can. I think you can. Like,
after like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, like because it's like you're done or whatever, you can delete it. I think I went through a few like old sponsored TikToks and was like, get rid of that.
Oh.
Like from ones from like years ago.
So just again, you were saying happy birthday to a chip.
Yeah, and like then the chip like was in the video, like I think it was like doing a dance. Like, I don't fucking know. It was like,
we need to find that.
We need to find that.
We're absolutely never finding that.
The reason I ask is we've sort of had a couple shockers sort of happen over the last little bit. One of them never made it to air, but one day I think we have to release it because it was so bad, and trying to work out how to even give it away without. It was a very weird partnership, like with a government type of thing.
Oh yeah,
so
okay. So there's a lot of rules around.
There's a lot of
very
rules
strict.
around it. And Darcy, maybe you explain what we tried to do. Like it was.
I was trying to think. I don't know how we can say it without.
Just say it. I don't care.
Maybe
it's not who it was with, but it was like a recycling.
You're promoting recycling.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing, is it?
Go green.
Right.
Perfect.
Green.
Save the turtles.
Pretty much Dyl was
Keep
acting
cups.
as a bouncer to a club.
Oh, Darcy, I don't even know if we can say it out loud. I don't even know if we can say it out loud.
I feel
You were dancing with a chip.
Valid point.
To get into the club, you had to recycle something, and then Dyl would say yes or no. We had like strobe lights going.
Don't, I've got the ick for
And
you.
I was like dressed in a suit with like a bouncer, like full bouncer. Like,
You had a leather jacket on too.
So it was like, I'm going to come in here.
And I was like,
if you don't recycle that,
I was like, well, make sure you take the lid off because you can't.
whose idea was this?
I don't know.
It was Dyl's.
He doesn't work here
The
anymore.
ones where you look back and you're like, ugh, and you just cringe. Even like non-paid ones though, I'll look back at. It would be like on this day a year ago on TikTok. Because I used to do a lot more skit stuff, but then since
I just skit stuff.
Yeah, but then since the podcast, I can sort of just be my weird self now. And sometimes I'll look back on them and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why is anyone watching it? Why does it have likes? Like, it makes me go, ugh, you're not fucking funny.
Yeah.
Stop that.
All right, mate, I don't listen to anything or watch anything I do.
Yeah, I
it hurts.
try not. Well, if I know that the podcast has been a little bit too rogue, I always listen to it. But that's just the radio brain of like not letting anything go to air without it being listened to.
Yeah.
Because Jarch and I can be very rogue sometimes, and this is out. We go. That's when we want something cut.
Oh, that's smart.
But it can easily slip through the cracks. I've had that before, and fuck me, I'm lucky we didn't get cancelled.
What went through?
Can't tell you. Can't tell you.
Around the... Oh, I had something really funny. What were we talking about before?
The bouncer.
The bouncer.
Put the leather jacket on for me. I want to see it in the flesh.
Oh, I've still got it here. It's really good.
Can you do the rest of the podcast as the bouncer?
No.
Get the sunnies.
It was so bad. Anyway, Sydney versus... Oh, Fitzy and Whipper had a story for you. So when were you working there?
Be 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay. So it wouldn't have been there. But when I was playing footy...
Wait,
sorry, at my previous job...
Sorry, hang on. Let's just go back. You used to play footy? What the... No way.
At my
I would
previous
never.
job. Yeah.
No.
What would you know about it? Yeah, literally. At my previous job, I was doing I went to Triple M to do some like sit in and learn how to do stuff. And I think that you'll actually give context into how annoying it is probably when people do that.
Yeah. It's like, fuck off.
It's like, fuck off. We're just trying to do our job.
Yeah.
And I went to to Fitzy and Whipper once when I was at Sydney. I thought like, this would be sick. Fitzy will love this. Like, former same industry, working together. And I remember walking up and like, I was out the front like 4 a.m. or whatever. I rode my scooter there. It was fucking freezing. My hands were like cold as fuck. And went up and I just sat. They were like, oh, hey, mate. Treated me like I was like 4 years old. Like, do you want to play with some toys? Like, I was like, no, it's okay. Just here to learn. And I went and just sat in a dark room with some guy editing the show for about 5 hours.
Oh, I know the exact room. Yeah, I know the exact room. And Even
that guy didn't want me there.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're just sitting there watching.
I think I should just leave.
And you got up at 4 a.m. for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the thing with radio is it's like everyone wants to like learn something, but no one actually wants to help you learn it because it's so like, especially like audio and technical stuff.
I get it now.
Yeah, someone's sitting there watching, you're like, mate, get away from me.
I get it now, but at the time it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, you're like, this is shit.
Yeah, I was
you just want to sit there.
I don't want to work in radio anymore.
Even that we had like the
sucks.
producer's booth and then you have the studio, and I'd always be like, fuck, so much more fun in the studio. And I was like, very close with both Fitzy and Whipper, but closer with Whipper. And I'd always just go in and we'd just talk shit. And then Tom, our like boss, would have to be like, come on, back, you can do your work. I'm like, damn it, get me back to the studio. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking day, but I totally get it now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a shit story.
Yeah, good yarn. On to the next.
On to the next one. The point I was saying before that I forgot about was with those sponsored ads, I love the most is like through our community. You know how we're saying they take the piss. Like every time we do an ad like that, they always get on and go, wow, I had no idea about this recycling technique.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for showing me.
But
I really appreciate it.
All you want is engagement.
Yeah.
Like, do you know I did an ad for
it actually helps a lot when people comment on them.
I did an ad for a fast food brand, and like it was my dream collab. Because I eat Uber Eats hungover and film myself. Yeah, and so a brand paid me to do that. I was like, this is outrageous. And then they had to turn the comments off. Because people were just being like, another day, like another tequila, like, you love to drink, don't you? Like, stinky Lou, like, stinking out, like, just, so they turned the comments off. But I was like, any engagement's good engagement.
Exactly, that's a good thing. We mean well, so we were talking before about Jarch and yourself. How did you guys meet? Did you know each other?
Grindr.
I've heard good things.
We told that
platform.
joke on a, we were getting interviewed by the Daily Telegraph, and we told that joke. Like we always say it.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
funny.
the guy didn't get it was a joke, and he told. So in the newspaper article, it says Jarch and Lou met on a dating app about 1.5 years ago. It's like printed in the newspaper. No, we both lived in Rose Bay in Sydney, and
Hey, good Rose Bay.
fucking love it. Oh, I'll never leave.
Double pay.
And then we just started doing TikToks together. He wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do one. Eddie and Burmo had their Shane Keith Productions. Then we did a few trial runs, and then we released our first one after like 2 practice runs. We were just like, fuck it, see how it goes.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
The way to that's the only way to do it though, really.
The more you try to like perfect something. Well, actually, in saying that, some people like things to be very clean and perfect.
Depends
and
on
all
the people,
that.
I suppose.
Ours is a big bucket of shit.
Speaking of shit, can you retell
the shit story? Okay, so this is a good yarn. This went like full viral on our Instagram and TikTok, and everyone was like, "How does this make sense?" Like, rah, rah. I'm like, "It's true. Just shut up. It's a good story." So a friend of a friend went on a date with a guy, and she was like, "Oh, this is going well. Come back to my place." She lived in like a studio apartment with a little balcony, and she was like, "I'm just going to have a shower. You make a drink for us, whatever, freshen up."
This is in Sydney.
Yeah. She goes to have a shower, and he was like, fuck, I really need to shit. And he was like, what can I do? Like, she's in the bathroom. I don't want to ruin this. And he was like, could I run downstairs? And then it was like one of those doors where it would lock and whatever. So he finds a plastic bag, shits in the plastic bag, and then opens the balcony door. And it's like perfect, swinging the plastic bag around. He's like, right, I can see a balcony, not a balcony, like a roof over there. Flings it, launches the bag, jackpot, lands on the roof, happy days. She turns the lights off, they're getting down to business. And then she goes, hang on. Can you smell shit? And he was like, nah, like keep going, like all good. She keeps going, and then she goes, nah, that's fucked. Something stinks. Flicks the lights on, and because he swung it around, there's shit flung all over her ceiling. It's just shit stains all over the ceiling. Like you can't escape that. You can't go, oh, is it like seeping through the roof? Like you've shit in a bag and you've flung it out the window, out the balcony.
Which one was your friend?
The girl. Friend of a friend. See, that's where everyone goes, it's not true. I swear to God, it's full true.
I have so many questions about that.
I know.
So it was seeping out of the bag. He still got...
So, because, you know, if like you tie something, it's obviously like easy for a bit of...
Yeah. Well, you haven't swung your shit off the balcony before.
I do it all the time.
You've just got a double bag.
It must have been a runny shit because, you know, flinging it... If it was solid, it's probably not going to fling everywhere. Sorry to get into too much detail, but...
No, I'm happy we clarified that. Did she speak to... Like, how did you get to
I don't know the but I think it was like, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Like, there's shit all over my roof.
Why was he swinging it?
Well, because he had to
momentum,
launch
Darcy.
it.
You need talk.
You don't need
You can't just
You
go,
need some talk.
You know, if you're finding a roof, you've got to swing it.
You need momentum. You can't just underarm it.
I reckon in that situation,
if I was in that situation, I would have just like thrown it off the balcony, like onto the floor. Or onto like the downstairs.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done in that
walking
situation.
past and someone just flings a bag of shit and it lands on your head.
Oh, I got some stories. I got a funny story about this. I don't know if I should tell this.
Tell it.
Go on, you've already told the bouncer story. Can't be worse than that.
Ripper. We need to talk about I want you to tell your story after this with your mate, the one that we told. On the Mini. I don't think it's been enough airtime on the next, but I'll tell you, a friend of mine used to do this thing called Poo Wallet, where what they do is they'd do a poo and they'd put it in an old wallet and you'd go somewhere and place it, sort of like drop it on a sidewalk, and then you'd go and like hide and just get to a vantage point and watch people walk past a wallet. Because what do you do when you find...
you pick it up and there's shit in it. So did you see people pick it up with shit in it?
Yes.
That is fucked, but also genius in a way. Like, I can imagine the amusement just watching people do that.
It was some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Because
the way that
the excitement of like finding a wallet and you go, oh my God.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going to give this back, but there could be $1,000 in here.
But there's just a big shit. That is so fucked up.
So you can imagine just like picking up and you go,
But watching that from afar, I can imagine a group of young boys like pissing themselves.
I don't think I've ever, from what I've heard, those guys that did that, they laughed.
Friend of a friend, was it?
They laughed pretty hard.
Yeah, I can imagine those friends would laugh.
But don't do that shit, no, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Don't be doing the poo wallet in 2024.
No.
Leave that for 1993, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon. Darcy, tell Lou the story of your friend, and there's a happy ending to this story too, which is actually better than
really happy.
Yeah, really happy ending.
So Bagel, his nickname's Bagel.
Well, I like that nickname.
It is a good nickname. He met this girl out one night, and he was lacking a bit of confidence at the time. So he met this girl. They went back to his place, and they had a great night. Everyone's having a good time. And then he woke up like late morning or early morning, like 4 or 5 a.m. I think. And he looked over and she was gone. And he was like, fucked it up. Like, she's just ghosted me. And then he like looked over and all her shit was still like in his room. Like phone, wallet, like everything. And he was like, where is she? Like, she must be in the bathroom. She's nowhere to be seen. And what she's done is she sleepwalks, and he's on like level 4 of an apartment block. So she's sleepwalked, gone all the way down the stairs and out into the middle of the road, starkers, completely nude, like fully nude.
My God.
Asleep.
And this is out on like Toorak Road, I think. Like Sunday morning, would have been like 6
on
a.m.
New South Head Road, like.
So he's just like, what's going on? He didn't even know she was out there, and she's had to like wave down an Uber driver.
So she woke up?
She
out
woke
there.
up
Yeah.
in the middle of the road.
But
and
she's
was
like, I don't know where the
fuck am
apartment
I?
is. Like,
Yeah.
I just met this guy. I don't know where the apartment is. I don't know where I am. I got no clothes, no phone.
Oh my God, that is my worst fucking
Yeah,
nightmare.
So she's like waved this Uber driver down and he's helped her out. He's like given her a t-shirt or something. And then she just got dropped at like a friend's house. And he just had no idea where she'd gone. Anyway, she messaged him.
What if she didn't know his name or anything? Like if it was full
Yeah.
one night stand, then all those shit's just at his
Yeah.
house.
Anyway, like they ended up catching up, but they're still together.
They're dating.
Bullshit.
And
How
That's
good
a
is that?
great love story.
they just bought a house.
Oh my
No
God.
way,
That is
Bagel.
unbelievable.
Congrats,
Bagel.
Bagel.
So,
Shout out
like, can you
Bagel.
imagine that story
At
being
your
told at
wedding?
your wedding? Like,
That's actually terrifying that she can sleepwalk like that.
oh.
I feel like I've heard a story similar to that of someone being locked out in a like hotel lobby or something like that.
Oh.
Similar-ish
It'd be
vibe.
pretty common, I reckon. Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalking's it is
Well,
terrifying when you think about it.
Think of
especially,
Step Brothers, the movie. He puts
Oh, that's
the,
a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, true. But he puts the handbag in.
Yeah, that's a
And
movie.
the pillow
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
think
oven.
that wasn't a documentary.
Well, I think
that
it
was real
was.
life.
I think that one
real
was a
life.
doco.
Yeah, okay. But that's got to be one of my all-time favourite stories. So
Yeah.
they will make a great couple together. I'm very happy for them. And I've tried to get her on the pod a few times anonymously just to like
To tell the
a
story
but
properly.
It's yeah.
Fuck,
I
that's
want
a
it from
good
her
yarn.
point of view.
We'll get her on.
Congrats, Bagel.
Yeah.
On buying a
I'm very,
house
very
and staying
happy for them.
together.
Very happy for them. What do you want to achieve this year?
Ooh, big
Yeah.
question. I would love
Are you
to.
deep?
Like, in what sense? Like a
That's
deep.
good. Deep thinker. Do you believe in the universe?
Yeah,
I'm a universe guy.
I'm a big. I meditate. People don't believe
do
that.
you really?
Yeah,
do you have stones, girl? Do you have
Nah,
stones?
not a Stones girl.
Neither.
Meditate, but like big on like Joe Dispenza, Abraham is it Hicks? Yeah, my
Abraham
mum.
Lincoln.
That guy.
Yeah.
My mum loves like quotes and all that kind of shit.
But
Big,
do you manifest?
yes, but
or
not.
like universe? Put it
yeah,
out.
yeah. 100%. Like what you put out is what you're going to get back.
Mm.
Like negative thoughts, you saying that's going to create your habit, all that kind of
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, which people think weird because I don't think people think I have a deep side. To
No,
me.
I think you're a lot. I think you know this, but I think people maybe not realise. I think everyone would realise, just to be completely honest. But there's a method to the madness.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
it's like obviously
you
I'm.
don't get to what you're doing without a bit.
Yeah,
of,
like I'm me on the podcast, but
Yeah.
then like I'm not fucking mental all the time.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are times where I can be quiet every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I like meditate, manifest in a way. Like I'm not like a dream board or that kind of
No,
shit.
but
But
just-
I probably could more, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big believer in like as cliche as it is like everything happens for a reason. You know, like if you don't get something or something doesn't happen or something doesn't go the right way, like next thing's coming. Because I've had so many times, I reckon, in my career where that sort of stuff has happened and then it's led me to like where I am. Which
Can
is,
I change that quote for you though?
Yeah.
Because you can keep that quote, but I'm more of the energy of it's not what happens, it's how you react to it. Which is not,
Yes.
because I hate the saying of like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And just purely because it's like, well, if someone like tragic happens, it's like that didn't really happen for a reason.
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
happened.
yeah. How
and
you
it's how I deal
respond
with it
to it.
next. It's
Yeah.
like I don't think it happened so that I could learn a shit
Yeah.
thing about it.
Yeah.
So I like the
Yeah,
change
I think
of it.
also in media, like you have to have very tough skin in the sense of like what happens. Like even like comments online and shit that people will say.
Do you
about
read
me.
comments?
Like every now and then, but like sometimes like, a lot of like men will comment like fucking gross things or like shit about like people's weight or like how like looks and that kind of stuff.
I can imagine that being really disgusting for a female to have to, like, because
Yeah.
the show that you're on, like you are surrounded by men, so like as
Yeah, yeah.
in your network and stuff.
And
like
I'm fucking rogue myself
Yeah.
and have tough skin and stuff. But it's when like our community roasting me is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I find
but when someone
everything
goes a bit
funny.
too far.
Yeah, too far, or like when something goes viral and then you got the randoms commenting stuff
Yeah.
is when it's like, what? Why do you sit behind your computer and say that?
Yeah. I don't know. I just like, I'm under the impression now, like whenever I get someone saying something to me, I'm just like, fuck man, I hope that person's okay.
Yeah.
Like I know, and I'm not saying that I get to that all the time,
Yeah,
but by the end of it, I'm like, oh, definitely, it does hurt. Like
Yeah.
shit that people say. Because even the stuff about when, when the pod finished with Liz Close, people
Yeah.
would message me like, you're a fucking dog. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, that's not nice. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
true.
yeah.
That does hurt. But I'm
Yeah.
like, you
No, but
probably
it's like
don't
pe-
mean it the way you're saying it
people
as well.
also,
Like,
like-
if I replied to you, you'd be like, oh, no, man, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Sometimes
oh,
I'll
you thought
get.
it wasn't very funny.
Yeah.
Maybe you should work at your jokes.
Yeah. I won't reply to like lots of things, but sometimes I'll reply and then people will be like, I love the pod.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Nah, but it's the price of admission, as we like to say here. Say that a little bit. It's like you can't have it all, unfortunately, and like you've got to put up with that stuff, and it can fuel you. And like for all the good comments, there's a few shit ones, and you just got to learn not to focus on the stuff.
We're very lucky. Majority of ours are positive.
Yeah, and
like
so is ours. We have a fucking
like,
good community. I think that's a good thing about podcasting, actually.
Yeah.
And not that we're like as big as you guys on TikTok and stuff. That's a bit different because you're going to an audience. But with podcasting, it's like you're not going to really go out of your way and listen to something you hate.
Exactly.
So
it's like you've got your bubble in your community. If you say
there.
something rogue and fucked up, it's like, well, you're here for a reason. It's just when you post that stuff on like TikTok or Instagram where it's like, okay, this is where the roasting
This week
commence.
I'm expecting it because like sort of getting a guest on that's like
controversial.
Yeah, like not as like good a footy player as the other
yeah,
people
true.
that I've had on.
Was that your previous job?
Yeah,
right.
in the field.
Okay, cool. So I used to be in breakfast radio. So
no, I'm aware.
I've had a previous job.
It.
Yeah. Cool.
Darcy worked at the Storm.
Did you?
Yeah, with Cooper Cronk.
Rugby league.
Oh, yep, big old rugby league guy.
You a rugby league gal?
Well, I am because I'm in Sydney.
Roosters.
But I've jumped around. I was the Sharks.
I go for the Rabbitohs.
Then I was the Rabbitohs, and then back to the Roosters.
I go for the Rabbitohs because the Bra Boys.
Oh, yes. It's weird, though, because coming from New Zealand, it was always just rugby union. It was like All Blacks.
Yeah, that's dead at the moment.
Yeah, but that's what we grew up on. It's like if you're watching the All Blacks and then moving Sydney, obviously there's NRL, and then even coming to Melbourne more. AFL's so massive here.
Yes, you got to get a team. Have you picked
I do.
one?
I think Carlton. There's no...
You know, that's like my previous workplace.
Bullshit. You used to work there. No way.
Yep. 6 years.
Wow. Fucking hell. Isn't that wild? Well, there's my team.
I can go for the Giants.
Well, otherwise the Swans.
Nah,
to be fair, I actually can't say that. The Swans always give me tickets,
Can
and
I
I've
say
gone to
something
lots
though?
of events with the Swans.
Can I say something?
Swans.
If you actually want to like stand out and be like not a part of the crowd all the time and just float in and be a loser, I would do the Giants because everyone else up in Sydney goes for the Swans. So then you've got like this bit of banter that you go for the Giants.
But what? Don't I need a Melbourne team?
No, not really. I'll go for the Blues. Yeah, go for the Blues.
Who are the Collingwood?
Yeah, don't go with that.
Why not?
They just won last year.
Oh yeah, I know. I went to the game. Do you guys know I went to the game?
Well,
I went to the final.
I was on Instagram and I saw a few things.
I was at the
Do you feel bad
final
for going to that game?
Why would I feel bad?
A lot of people wanted to go.
Yeah, I wanted to go too.
You don't even know anything about the game.
I know a fair amount. I worked there for 6 years at Carlton.
Last thing I want to talk to you about, have you ever nearly... Okay, it's a weird one to start. I was going to say, have you ever nearly died? But
go on, let's get really deep.
What happened yesterday to me, and to be honest, it's still playing in the back of my mind today, is I was playing golf yesterday, and might not mean much, but I hit a drive. It went into like this creek, and to hit it over this wall, it was like a 1.5 metre wall, like brick wall, and I had to chip it over to get onto the green.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I could do it, back myself in, as you have to do in life sometimes. Even when you're not ready, you just have to you have to have a crack.
Do it.
You got to just fucking do it, don't you? Do you think you were ready to leave your previous job?
Nah, but I did it. And you weren't ready to swing that club, but you did it.
And I did it.
Yep.
And what happened, and this will happen in life to you sometimes, is you don't always get picked up. Sometimes you have to get dropped down.
Yep.
And I smashed this ball, thinned it, hit the brick wall, straight back into my face.
I can see the little bruise there.
Yeah, and I don't bruise easily. Like, I'm quite strong.
That means
From
you're
my previous
healthy.
profession, I would have...
Correct. 6 years at Carlton.
8 and 2 at another
Sorry,
place
that will
as well,
fucking do that to you.
Yeah.
I don't bloody do it to you.
Yeah, so I didn't, it was like just this millisecond of like, what the fuck had just happened? I just hit it and then bang, it hit me in the eye. And almost I was like, imagine if that was just 3 centimetres over and it hit me in the eye. Or 3 centimetres the other way, hit me in the temple and I was knocked out.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there.
You just with a pirate eye patch.
But imagine. And I was just sitting there this morning with the boys going, this day could have been so different.
Like you're laughing about it now. You could have had one eye this afternoon.
I could have had one eye and could have been in hospital, which, unfortunately, that happens, right, to people. And I was just like, fucking hell, life can change. Did you, sorry, this is probably a rude question because you just said you're about to die, but did you yell, for? Well, No, because it hit me in the face,
True.
not someone else.
True.
So I didn't have time
So
to...
sorry. It's so inconsiderate of me. I'm
No,
so
but it's
sorry.
good to know about the rules that
Yeah.
that is a
That's a thing.
thing.
Yeah.
And you're right, because
You should
everyone
have-
was asking me, like, fuck, who hit you? And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I actually
Pretend you
did
got
it
in
to
a fight.
myself.
Because I reckon it'll bruise a bit more. I can see that. I think it's going to happen around
No,
here.
I don't bruise.
I think, trust me,
I don't bruise.
I think that's happening.
Back to the point, though.
Have I
Has your life ever flashed before your eyes?
The only thing that springs to mind, is that the right phrase? Yeah. For me is when we were like 19, we were leaving, like, this is bad, but like a 7-day festival. You know how like when you're 19,
7-day festival, Jesus.
you've had a fair few vodka sodas back in that day, or cruisers, whatever it was.
I couldn't comment.
Right.
I was
so
yeah,
sorry.
I
You were
was at
too
a-
busy doing the
back
poo
then I had a-
wallet?
No, back then I was at a workplace where you couldn't do those sort of things. So
What? Oh, sorry, right. That's professional athlete.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. All right, I'll write that one down for the 7th time.
I actually hate myself. For saying it. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
me
actually
too.
funny anymore. It's not funny.
Same running
we
joke as
just-
breakfast radio on our
No,
podcast.
I think it's worse.
It'll always be funny for the 150th time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were driving home, like obviously a bit sleep deprived, and like passing chips back and forth. I don't know, something. Anyway,
Yeah.
rubbish went around the car, like the air conditioning picked it up or whatever, and then we all kind of were like, well, like looking at what that was, and then went off the road and kind of like went down into a gully kind of thing, and then and then like up and sort of spun around. I reckon if we'd been going like remotely faster, we would have just been wrapped around a pole.
No.
And my dad arrived before the ambulance. So I think the ambulance came like 10 minutes after my dad, because we were like literally, not even kidding you, which apparently, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that most car crashes happen when you're the closest
Yes.
to home, because you think you're on
You're like, I'm there.
home straight. Yeah, so we were like, I'm not fucking with you, 3 minutes from home pretty much.
So fucking scary.
Yeah. And now I'm a shit passenger.
Yeah, you like bits.
Yeah, like even my boyfriend picked me up from the airport, and if like someone like looks at me too much while they're driving, I'm always like, watch the road.
Yeah.
It just sounds so like, oi, eyes on the road,
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah. No, it's scary. I don't know. Like I'm just sort of happy I still have
An eye?
an eye.
Yeah.
But
Make sure you yell 4 next time, even
I
if it's
will.
for yourself.
I will. I will. You heading back to Sid's?
Monday.
Cool. What are you going to do? What beach are you going to swim at first?
I missed.
Let me guess.
What? I go to the harbour beaches more.
Oh, Red
Yeah.
Leaf?
I'm a Camp Cove girl.
Yeah.
It's stunning, but it's
So
shit
nice.
parking. So if you're going, you got to
You got
go
a scooter.
early. Well, I'm not the greatest driver, so scooter would probably be highly dangerous.
Camp Cove is beautiful. Do you know that
Gorgeous.
I've jumped off the rock over there?
Oh, too high for me.
It's actually really high.
I don't have like a need for speed or like an adrenaline
Neither
rush.
do I. Because
Too
when
high.
I was like younger, as I said before, I was probably a bit more of a risk taker. But you know when you hit a certain age where you start going,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not really keen on that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And my brain got mixed up with my actual what I wanted to do. And I think the ego was there and I was like, oh, I really want to jump off
It's
that.
so high.
I left my mates. They didn't come with me. They're like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, no, I really want to do it. And I got there. Then I was like, all these kids like 15 doing like blackouts and shit off it. And I was like,
and
I
there's
actually
rocks
don't really
below.
want to jump off this anymore, but I don't think there's a way down.
Too late now.
And I just stood up there for like 20 minutes and they were like, you going to do it, mate? I was like, yeah. And just, it was one of the fucking scariest things I've ever done.
Yeah, because there's also rocks down there.
Yeah.
So like if you jump too close, you're fucked. You really need to go out wide.
Well, I've actually done it, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I'm just from friends'
From experience. Yeah, no, well. Sort of
You'd know
different 'cause
more
I've-
than I would.
Yeah, I get your expertise on it, but I've done it.
Jumped off, small diving boards before.
That's sick. Top other two beaches, Red Leaf.
Red Leaf is only good when it's the tide's good, because sometimes it can
Yeah.
be fucking gross.
Yeah.
Bondi's obviously nice, but I like it when it's flat. I'm not very
North.
good in the
No
North
boat?
Bondi.
Yeah.
I'm not very good in the waves, so it needs to be baby waves for Lulu.
Yeah.
And then
Do you
I like
swim off the back and come in?
no,
That's a
I'm just
fun
in
thing
and
to
out,
do.
in and out,
Okay.
and then Bronte.
Sometimes walk down the
I
back
like
and jump
Clovelly
off.
too.
Clovelly's great.
Yeah, I like it. You can't fault any of the beaches apart from Tama. That is fucking terrifying.
So-
when I first arrived, walked in, got rolled backwards by the waves. Bikini was at my ankles on my own. I had to pull my pants up.
Well,
It was a sight for everyone.
I think Tamarama is a genuinely scary beach.
It's for the
Like,
surfers, for the shaka bras, it's for the
Yeah.
barrel hunters.
I could go, but not into it
So
anymore.
you're a surfer?
No.
Surfer and ex-footy
we don't
player.
do this.
Athlete.
Dyl, you should tell that story of when you nearly drowned at Bondi.
No, I've told that. I've nearly told that as many times as the fucking footy story. It's not that funny and it doesn't go anywhere, but nearly drowned. And
Well,
it
there
was
you go.
the
You've
only
nearly
day.
died twice.
Well, it was the only day. Legit.
Yeah.
It was the only day Bondi Rescue weren't filming.
Oh, perfect.
So
imagine if you were on Bondi
mate, I was 10
Rescue.
metres from the fucking shore.
Were you in a
I
rip?
was stuck in the rip. I just couldn't get out.
Yeah, I don't really go, like Camp Cove, I'll go out quite far because it's nice and chill, but Bondi, I'm like up to my chest. That's about as far as I'll go.
I was literally 10 metres from the sand, right? Surfing, and I just panicked, pushed my board in, and I'm like, oh my God, now I've got no flotation device. And I just went head down, swam. I just grabbed onto some sand, and I reckon I sat on the beach for an hour because I was so exhausted.
Yeah. What does a rip feel like? In my head, it's like a cyclone.
Well, it was super weird because even I know with rips you got to paddle back and to the side to get out of them.
Oh, that's good to know.
So you actually got to go with it. So you gotta
Towards
go
the
out,
ocean.
towards the ocean, but on a diagonal. So you've got
To
to
the left.
All right. You've got
Right,
to work
okay.
out which way to go.
It's good to know if I'm
Yeah.
ever drowning.
But
Thanks.
for some reason, I just couldn't get out of it. It was a really strong one, and people were looking at me on the beach and stuff. No one was coming in, but I was fucked. And
I
was
wouldn't
just,
save you if I saw you in
No,
a rip, to be
and
honest.
to be honest,
I'd just leave
I think
you.
they just thought I was waving to them.
Yeah.
But it was.
Oh, if I was in a rip, you'd fucking know. I'd be screaming.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely
I was
wailing.
like, do I die or is my ego just don't want to be embarrassed? It's
Die.
like, do I? It's
Die.
like, do I?
Don't be. There's a bit icky. You going like this, just die. You go, yeah. Nah, fuck it. I'm dying. Take death. Take the death.
He died well. he died with
He went out. He went out
in
well.
style. Yeah, he wasn't embarrassed.
Death icky. I'll take death.
On that note, fuck off.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
Really good to see you. Maybe when I'm up in Sydney, we'll go to the Toddies.
100%.
With the crew,
When are
and
you
I'll
up
be
next?
I'll be like, boys, Burmo,
Yes.
Jarchi.
Yes, let's get some bread and
Inspired.
burrata.
Get another round of burrata. Let's get some
Another
fucking.
Aperol. Let's get this
On
party
me.
started. When are you up next?
I don't have any plans.
Oh, well, you
Yeah.
tell me and I'll book in.
Yeah.
Oh, the maraca's still
Yeah,
going.
no,
Here we go. One
yeah.
last sip. Shake it. Shake it, everyone.
See you later.
Thanks.